coach program that we put together was kind of built on this model of how to help people change. What we're doing today is is talking about going through, and we will be doing a demo. So if you're feeling courageous this Friday, begin to think about like raising your hand to be part of the demo. I assure you it should be relatively quick. Depends on how far we collectively want to go with the demo. But to learn this technique that that you could apply in for you in real life. But anyway, so the idea here is to help people stay conscious of what it is that they say they want to do and the reason for it. I mean, imagine this, right? So here's my little setup. If somebody said, there's something out there that's free that you can take anywhere you want, right? Doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to have equipment around that could help you be aware of what it is you're trying to do so that you can make good choices throughout your day. Like, would that not be a good thing? Hopefully the answer is yes. When we first started the work, we actually hooked up the really quick story is in like 2005, I tried to get the website habitchange.com, and turns out it was taken by a psychologist who had created a device, it's still out there, called Motivator, which is sort of like a beeper-like device. If those of you that's as old as I am, that knows what a beeper is, but like a pager, right, around your waist, and it would vibrate periodically throughout the day, depending on how you set it up, to remind you of what you're trying to be conscious of. And that was the closest thing I could come up with to help people remember throughout the day. Like, you know, it's like, oh, I forget, I want to like eat healthy, or I want to exercise, or I want to be nice to my family, whatever. And you might like put like wallpaper on your computer, or you might put a little sticky note up or something. And then eventually it becomes background noise. So let me just talk about what this is, and then we'll demonstrate it, we'll process the demo, and then we'll ask questions, you know, answer questions, that kind of thing. We're gonna have a dialogue about it. So who is feeling courageous and is willing to demo?
I'll do it.
All right, thank you, Lisa. So like what, it's new into 2021, right? So is there a particular goal that you're hoping to sort of achieve, say this?
I think it's more of the way I think about things that I'd like to work on.
So say more about that.
Do not have an attitude that I'm too old to start new things, and you know, that I don't kind of make my choices based on that kind of a thought pattern. So I'd like to have more flexibility in how I make decisions about what I'm going to spend my time on.
So is it about being, so if I try to phrase this, is it about being a flexible decision maker? Like what's a word or a couple words that might capture this? If you were that, what would be, let's go this way. If you were that thing, what would be different?
I wouldn't be looking at the end, I'd be looking at the beginning. I wouldn't be saying, do I not have enough time left in my life for this? I would just be sort of heading into adventures, and in a less constrained way. I would be,
I love it.
I think it is flexible decision making, but based on, you know, these limiting beliefs about my age.
Yeah, I love it. So the word that came up to me is the word in flow. Like with life.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
I mean, you know, there's, you know, like just being in flow with life, as opposed to sort of wrestling with that thing called time and, oh, I'm here at this point in my life, you know, that whole crazy thought process.
That sounds right.
So in flow with my life, in flow in life, like you speak whatever it sounds like to you, and then let's together see if it felt right. Well, I said in flow, like.
In flow works great for me.
In flow works great, okay. And why is that important? What's important about being in flow?
I think that that prevents me from feeling like I didn't actually live my life. You know, I want to feel like, you know, I've made a difference, that I've actually existed, and that when I get to the end, I want to say, woohoo, that worked for me.
Oh, I
So
love,
when I flow and in the present and in the moment, I feel kind of eternal. When I'm not in that, I feel kind of constrained by, oh, maybe I shouldn't embark on this, or maybe I shouldn't go over here, or, you know, maybe I'm too old for this. Or, so,
right. It's like getting in your, it's like bargaining against yourself, you know, like getting in your own way unnecessarily. Woo, I love the woo-hoo. Joy, something like being in joy also just showed up for me. What would be, so if all that were true, what excites you about that?
what doesn't, right?
Right.
It's kind of,
That's great.
I guess a part of me doesn't believe you can live it all the time. I have a pretty good dose of it on a daily basis, but I think I constrain myself sometimes, and I'd rather not. I mean, who doesn't want to be in joy and woohoo and in
And
flow and feel? What's
that's,
not to love about that? So
yeah, I love it. Abundance. And by the way, you know, last month we did this thing on like the why, and this was a beautiful example of like when you get to like, how could you not want that, right? That's when you know you've gotten to that core, right? That was
yeah,
well.
what's not to like, right?
Okay, so what this tool that I'm going to work with you with, Lisa, is it's called a 3-question mantra, and we're gonna develop it together. It's actually kind of developed, and I'm going to share with you, and then we're going to talk about how to use it, right? And then, by the way, planting the seed. You know, I'm going to want to hear from you in a couple of weeks, and I want to hear how it's going. Okay.
That's
All right.
great.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So when I'm going to start with this, but it's going to be more than this. When you wake up and or when you're brushing your teeth, okay, I'll pick one of those things in the morning that like it's a normal regular thing, right? I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I want to be in flow, or do I not want to be in flow? Okay, make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, can you imagine yourself asking that question?
Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful. Um, Obviously, the point of asking that question is to help you connect in that moment with that which you desire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're busy people, right? And you know, like it's easy to forget that this is important to you, right? I'm gonna pin so I can see. Okay, good. Okay, so there's 2 answers to that. Yes, I want to be. I want to be in flow, or I don't want to be in flow, right? Um, if the answer is I do not want to be in flow, no worries. Go on with the rest of your day. Okay. Um, if it keeps being that, then I'd want to reconnect and see, did we find that right thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no worries. If the answer is yes, Lisa, then I want you to go to the second question, right? It's called 3-question mantra, right? A little foreshadowing. The second question, the second question is, do I choose to be in flow right now? Or do I choose to not be in flow right now? And those words, in the order of those words, is important. So do I choose to be in flow right now? Or do I choose to not be in flow right now? You want to guess what the 2 important words there are other than flow, being in flow?
Right now.
Exactly. Right. Choose and now. Right.
Mm.
And so now imagine there you are. Do I want to be in flow? Do I not want to be in flow? I want to be in flow. Do I choose to be in flow right now? Do I choose to not be in flow right now? what's really important here, and I hope you write this down too, is not any answer is a good answer, and there's no shame in whatever that answer is. Okay. This is not about like tricking yourself or even setting yourself up to make the right or good choice, right? This is about bringing consciousness to the choice that you're making anyway. You're making the choice, you're just generally making it subconsciously, right? You're not really bringing consciousness to it because you're busy living your life. Okay. If the answer is, I choose to not be in flow right now, no worries. You want to like, struggle with whatever, right? Like you're taking the new medication that you now have to take that you would have had to take when you were 20. I don't know. And you're done. Okay. If you say no. If you say, I choose to be in flow right now, you go to the third question. And the third question is always the same no matter what the goal is. What action do I need to take right now? And then obviously you then take the action. What's interesting here is that there's an unfolding, right, of this process. The first thing you're doing, and of course this whole thing happens in about 10 seconds, right? But you're just reminding yourself what it is that's important to you. Then you're bringing consciousness to the choice that you're going to make anyway. And you're making, and then it's helping you make a decision about that next action that you take. And an action can also be avoiding something that you might do as well, right? Like, like if it was eating healthy, like, do I eat this piece of cake now, right? The action is to say no to that piece of cake, right? Or not. And then you get to that, like, okay, so then you take that action. And what we care about is only that action in that moment. If you think about in Alcoholics Anonymous and other Anonymous, it's, one day at a time. This is literally one moment, one decision at a time, and that's all we care about. Because what happens is as you bring consciousness, because what I'm going to ask you to do is then you do it like when you're doing dishes, and then you're going to do it, right? What you're doing is you're going to form a new habit. And it's such a simple habit. And when distractions show up like that, it's a way to bring you back to focus about what's important to you. All right, so let me pause and just, before I go on, and just ask you for thoughts, reflections, questions.
I think the hard part for me will be deciding what action do I need to take right now. And that seems to be where for me, where the rubber meets the road is, all right, it's nice to contemplate, but where's my behavior?
Yeah. And what's tricky about that is because your behavior that you chose is about thought, right? It's about, right, getting in your own way, right? And so let's play with this. So, because what the idea is that what happens is the question ends up showing up like during the day when you need it, right? But right now, like what would not being in flow look like, and what would being in flow look like?
I think it would look the same, but it would feel different. So I'm thinking about my arresting the way the thoughts kind of habitually fall into place and run away with themselves. If I could come in and say, do you want to be in flow now? And what would be the next action? It might be that I step away or meditate or become mindful in another way. Or
exactly. Right. So I do know that you're highly resourceful. I know that you teach coaching, and I know that you have tons of skills available to you, that if a thought came up that was non-productive and you chose to be in flow, you literally could just shift your focus of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You create a wedge between between that initial thought and then what you do subsequent to that. Do you feed the thought? Do you not feed the thought? Do you redirect it? Do you remind yourself, do you have another mantra that you play with around, living every day, in the moment, the youthful, the youth that I am.
Even you're saying create a wedge is almost like a mantra for me. It could be the first place when I feel that coming. I could say, well, create a wedge. If you choose not to, let's create a wedge. Sometimes languaging things helps me a lot.
Yeah. And what picture, when you think of wedge, what picture comes to mind?
Well, a little physical wedge comes into my mind, but the idea that it gives me some airspace is what seems useful about it. So I could actually think of it as a physical object, but then something that gives me a fulcrum on which to shift.
Yes. So that what's coming out of this now is a homework assignment. Would you be willing to look online and look and purchase a little wedge? I mean, if you're artistic, you could make one like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. And if there was something on it, like some words on it, what words might be on it?
Take a deep breath.
Breathe into.
I'm first things first, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, beautiful. Breathe into flow. To be here now, right? Like.
You don't need the Snickers bar. There's better things. I don't know. We could have that on there too.
You could even have, two, it could be like, whatever you're in the mood for that day.
Right. That could be the interchangeable part.
But I love the idea that it's there, and if what comes up is be in flow and you look at the wedge. That's simple, right?
I love it.
Go ahead.
No, I love it too. It's simple, and it's something concrete and a reminder, and carry it around with you.
Yeah, and you're a visual. I get that you're a visual person. So once you've done that a few times, and the wedge has been in front of you, is there going to be a smile? I mean, I can see the smile now, right? You're going to be, in the kitchen, and you're going to, do I want to be in flow? And you're immediately going to have the image. Yes, I'm going to choose, to be in flow. That wedge, you're going to in your desk area, whatever, right?
Oh, it's there already. Yeah.
That's great. I'm going to also want a picture.
Okay.
That would be awesome. All right, send Jeff.
No problem.
All right. And this is it. Before we sort of talk about this to the wider group, thoughts, questions, anything else you feel complete around this?
I think it's a lifelong situation that, I've got to also just be able to say, well, like you said, there's no wrong answer. Some days you're going to be in flow, and some days you're going to choose to, choose the Snickers bar and the impeachment hearings,
Yeah. Yeah, and they go together well.
It's a constant thing between, do I want to be numb or do I want to be here? And, so the wedge will have that going on for it too. Well,
okay. So since you brought it up, listen, there is, I will share with you, once you do this over a period of time, and you do the 3 questions, and you get so habitual around that, you can use the second question throughout your day for different things. So for example, do I, you turn on the TV while you're making something, and you're done making the thing, and now you're done eating the thing, and the TV's still on, right? And then, do you stay there, or do you choose to turn it off, right? Because really, is it good? And by the way, you talk about a wedge. TV is hypnotic trance, right? And by the way, they've gotten good at that. Just like putting, the series where they now have the commercial before the finale, and then they have the next show start right, after, right, to keep you stuck, right? But, a simple technique is you shut the TV off, just tell yourself 10 seconds. because what it does is it puts a wedge, right? And I can turn the TV back on in 10 seconds. 9 times out of 10, you will not turn that TV back on. You don't need to, right? It goes back to that wedge.
Yeah,
But,
that concretizing of it really helps me. You know, I rather than just thinking I like a concrete, I'm very concrete, very
yeah,
literal.
yes, that's good. Well, that's good. So what you could do throughout your day is you can use different versions of this. So you would say, do I choose to be numb right now? Or do I choose to be here in the moment right now? Well, I want to say, what came to me, Lisa, is do I want to be free right now? Do I want to be numb right now? Or do I want to be free right now?
Wow.
Yeah, I hit me. Oh, I got chills on that one. Wow, I mean, freedom goes with so much of what we're talking about, doesn't it?
Something hit there for me too.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I invite you to play with that one, right? And then you can use it in different situations. Whenever you find yourself in habitual pattern, right? You can notice what it is and give yourself a conscious choice. And again, there's no shame in the choice. Do I want to be productive right now? Do I not want to be productive right now? Do I want to be loving like a loving person right now? Do I not want to be loving right now? You know, Valentine's Day is coming up. Do I, you know, yeah, do I want to, yeah. So does this all make sense?
Well, you know, present is such a neutral word, but free isn't.
That is true.
You know, so the choice between numb and free is really more poignant.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah. Well, and if you want the core true to the model, like I just like the way those two words come together, particularly around what you were talking about as the example. The pure way of doing it would be, do I want to be free right now? Do I not want to be free right now? And that is very generalizable to anything that would keep you from being free.
I love it.
All right, me too. And again, you are hugely resourceful. The action is the easy part. You know, it's bringing consciousness throughout the day. That's the momentum that we're looking to get.
Thanks.
All right, absolutely. Thank you very much. And hands on my heart as you're writing down.